the importance of nutrition for basic health, for growth, and for the healing of our body, whether it's for just the ability as a senior to get up and go for a walk, or for an elite Olympic athlete for them to heal as they're pursuing the highest levels of performance. Nutrition affects us all. So, what are your thoughts, and how important are our choices? And this will lead us to rituals, but our choices over what we put on our plate.
Yeah, that's a good one. So to kind of fall back on the habit side of things, it's relying on sheer discipline and willpower is futile. It's a futile effort, even for the most elite athletes. So our choices really revolve around setting up our environments in such a way, that are going to make the better habits, the good habits, more accessible, easier, more satisfying, and the bad ones more difficult, sort of more layers between that. So if I'm understanding the question correctly, I love what you said, how it all sort of integrates. It's kind of like with a lot of the healing side of things, it's tough to know, everything matters. Recovery, which involves good nutrition, sleep is so crucial. And in some cases, it's difficult to know what came first, the chicken or the egg, in terms of, is it we know that research has shown that poor sleep, chronic sleep deprivation will impact your physiological ability to burn fat, build muscle. Like, it's got such a huge accumulation of negative downsides. And does that, it causes poor nutrition, but does good nutrition improve sleep? Probably. So it's one of those things where, similar to the deep health approach, it's got to be a holistic thing. So if you have someone who's trying to heal, a client who's trying to heal, and their sleep is just garbage, then that's something that we would want to focus on. But again, nutrition plays into that as well. So not sure if I'm answering your question there, but the choices we make it's again, this unfortunate paradigm that so much of what we do is delayed outcomes. So the bad habits seem to be a result of immediate outcomes. This is sweet, this is salty, this tastes good, this relieves my stress in the moment. Unfortunately, it has bad long-term outcomes, whereas the good habits and so forth, they generally have kind of either completely unrecognizable short-term outcomes, in some cases even negative short-term outcomes. Like, for someone who doesn't work out consistently, goes to the gym, that burn can be actually an uncomfortable experience. And yet, finding a way to connect with the long-term benefits and shifting our mindset is essential to healing and just living healthy.
Ryan, can I just follow that up with a question, Heath?
Yeah.
Ryan, excellent comment. One of the things that I thought was most powerful for just us average everyday guys is that you said discipline and willpower are futile efforts. And I would think that people that are struggling with these sort of things are wondering about it and wondering why things aren't changing. That's their go-to, discipline and willpower. And it doesn't work that well. But then you said the second part, which is you have to set up a system that makes you likely to succeed. Can you just expand on that a bit? Does that mean like your shopping lists and your what's in the fridge, and you know, like having a plan when you work out, you're going to eat this and this and this or this or this. Is that what you're talking about, or something else?
100%, Bob, and it's all going to be so. This is why I think I'll be in demand for years to come. Coaching is so contextual and individual. So depending on where the individual's at, what you said is very accurate in terms of the system. So I'm on a big sort of, in case you can't tell, I'm on a big sort of habit kick right now. I'm reading a lot of books on it and so forth. My coaching, that's the foundation of my coaching, really. So I'm a huge habit nerd, so to speak. And someone put it that, you know, I think we've all heard the statement of, what is it? We don't rise to the level of our goals. We fall to the level of our training or our systems. So again, with the whole discipline, and it's like motivation. Motivation is a desire. It's relying on motivation to get our ass in the gym, or to prepare that healthy or make that healthy food choice. It's fleeting, so it comes and goes, and such as is discipline and willpower. So I even made, you know, a post on my social media recently where I'm trying to be open and transparent and sort of empathize more with everybody. And you know, I say, hey, I'm having a crummy day, like where my level of motivation was low. I got my workout in, I did my morning ritual, I meditated, I ate well, had a good sleep. You know, sometimes the most frustrating pieces are when you can't quite put a finger on what's going wrong. But those would be the days where if I was following some unsustainable crash diet, I would fly off the handles and order 7 large pizzas to my door. If I didn't have my systems in place, right? Thankfully, this is what I do. I've slowly layered on exceptionally healthy habits that I'm always reviewing, trying to pull back and objectively review and improve. But at this point, my workouts, my food prep, my meditation, my mindfulness, all of this stuff is so deeply ingrained into my daily routine that I've got healthy food ready to go in the fridge. So it's easy. I don't have chips or, you know, cookies or things that would tempt me in my house all the time. So that's such a big piece of it, right? You have to understand that even and I think Heath and you and I have talked about this before too. It's like the gap between that Olympic athlete that you mentioned and Joe Schmo, it's not that crazy. It's not a huge difference where they will both, like they would both kind of have that, or should have, ideally that same level of sustainable eating and lifestyle habits. The Olympic athlete may be, of course, when they're trying to peak for competition, they're going to get way more systematic and down to the minutia as far as their macronutrient breakdown and nutrient timing and all of that. So you can get way more scientific on that, but that is short term for them. So even if you have an MMA athlete who's cutting weight for a fight, or an Olympic athlete who's trying to peak for weightlifting or whatever it may be, all of their very extreme, like what the average person sees as a diet is a short-term approach. They only do it for a short-term period of time because it's unsustainable, and then they ideally fall back to their proper healthy systems.
So I've got a few things I'd like to share about. I think that we've just discussed here about my journey, and as a type 1 diabetic, managing and dealing with weight loss, very, very challenging, as well as the importance of one thing that you just said is it fits right under chance favors a prepared mind. An old adage I used to say when I was a police officer, the best defense is don't be there, right? So people would always go, oh, heck, this happened, and da, da, da. Proximity is a critical success factor. So the best defense in our nutrition, don't buy it. Don't put it in the cupboard and you won't eat it. Buy it, you will. So I think it comes back to expectations as well, back to our mindset. So the rituals are important, but they really start with the plan and your purpose. And I think we set ourselves up for failure when we do our planning by believing the advertising, the lies that I can have six-pack abs in 3 months. Now, let's just have a quick realistic discussion. It took me probably a decade, some people 20 years, to go from high performance to medium performance down to low performance body. For whatever the reason being, whether it be our mindset, our lifestyle, our career, our job, we're on planes and cars, all the different things. These are valid excuses. But ultimately, those excuses are just choices on our lifestyle. And we're here talking today about healthy lifestyles and the nutritional impact on a healthy lifestyle. So I just hit me. I was at 225. I'm down to 210, and I was very blessed. It took me 2 years. I didn't say 3 months. I said, I need 2 years to do this, and I'm going to have to transform my, let's just call it beer keg back into a six-pack. How will that happen? Less consumption, just like the keg talks about and the six-pack talks about. It's a smaller size. So I basically had to go through and totally revamp my mindset, how I'm focused on it, why I'm doing it, and that why's got to be bigger than my desire for my salty, savory, or sweet treats. Because we all know, as an example, ice cream. We all scream for ice cream. So that is something I think is really first point. Just to summarize that is set realistic goals and time frames. 3 months is unrealistic. The guy in the magazine with the six-pack was not me. He never was me, because the abs they're showing you are cut down and below actually healthy body fat, right? They're sub 8 and 5%. That's not healthy or sustainable. Not even for them. I think it's also, you got to realize that if it's easy come, it's easy go. Both ways. Les Brown says it so well. If it's easy now, it will be hard later. If it's hard now, it will be easy later. Why? Back to what you've said here and what I'm hearing, and I believe, back to the rituals for the results we want. If I want the six-pack, I have to do what the man with the six-pack does. If I want to have the couch potato body, which we've talked about before, that program's simple. Sit on couch, eat chips, eat the potatoes. You will end up looking like that. So that kind of is just an anecdotal, but I really think it comes back to what I heard you say so clearly is the 4 pillars of health. And then I'd like Bob to kind of share his story of, you're talking about an elite athlete in Bob. And I think him and I've talked a lot about this. You can't be elite at anything or have high performance if you don't have self-discipline, if you don't have the rituals. And people that are self-disciplined prepare for that so that they know when they're weak, they have a healthy choice versus not. We need to breathe and focus on the good goals that we're setting. Take those moments to think and visualize it. Breathe. 2, we need to hydrate. Number 1 success for losing weight, or being a high performer is drinking water. Liquid is not water. Pop is not water. Coffee is not water. Water. 3 is the nutrition we're talking about, what we're putting on our plate. It's got to be healthy. When you're at the grocery store, it's around the outside of the store. It's not down the aisles. And then 4, we need to do something active and exercise every day so that when we go to bed, we're tired. We'll get a good sleep then.